All right, what is good? What is happening? How is everybody doing today? My name is Chuck, and welcome back to a brand new video. If you guys here today is we're going to be talking about everything regarding Modern Warfare Season 4 leaks, new secret weapons, Warzone updates for game modes, and much, much more. So if you guys think you enjoyed today's video, if you guys could do me a favor and smash a like on, if we could break 200 likes on this video, that would be really awesome, and I really would appreciate that. And also, if you guys love to get some Call of Duty points on your account, make sure you guys have, of course, dropped a like on the video, hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on, and definitely make sure you guys comment down in the comment section below. And something I'd like to point out is there is a very good percentage of you guys that watch my videos that are not yet subscribed. So if you haven't already, make sure you do so. I mean, I'd love to see you around on the channel more. With that all being said, let's actually jump into everything I got to say, and yeah, let's just hop into it. So the first thing we have to talk about is I want to actually go over a little bit what I talked about in one of my previous videos, which was my Season 4 leaks, my initial one that I made probably roughly around 2 to 3 weeks ago. And in that video, I talked a lot about map changes and getting a new map into Warzone, and a lot of people seem to be really down with the idea of the, for all the leaks that were coming out. And so I wanted to kind of circle around, and since we've had so much stuff going on with the Easter egg and the bunker and all that stuff in Warzone right now, and talk a little bit more about that. So you guys have seen that, in my previous video, I mentioned, getting a new map, and we'd have a lot of different map changes because they wanted to have Fortnite-like live events that are going to be happening. And we've more or less seen those Fortnite-like live events or miniature versions of that in Warzone. Kind of what's going on right now with, the bunker and the Easter egg and stuff that's actually happening in real time on the map that is, open for players to go ahead and do at any point in time, but it's not necessarily on the scale of, what Fortnite has, obviously. But within getting a new map, there's been a lot of circulation going around that we are actually going to have a new one called Urzikstan, which would then inherently replace the old map. So I'm trying to put more or less 2 and 2 here together, putting on my tinfoil hat and going with the scenario of, if we're supposed to be getting a new map here going into Season 4, and with right now what's going on in the bunkers, if you guys have actually, gone into the bunker, or if you have not, let me just explain this here real quick, is that, obviously when you do all of your codes, you go into the bunker. By the way, you should do that in Blood Money quads. It's the easiest. There's no gas, there's no storm, so definitely go to do it in there. But if you go into the bunker itself to get the MP7 blueprint, which you guys have, been able to see that I did myself, there was actually another room, which I didn't even know about initially when I went to go get the blueprint. That's all I was trying to do, was just get the blueprint, and that was it. But you actually go prone, and you can kind of crawl through this little crawl space, and you actually go into the back, and there's another red button you're able to push, and it clears out the smoke in this one room, which then inherently allows you to see that there is indeed a nuke that is being put together in one of the back rooms right behind essentially where the MP7 blueprint is. So a lot of people are tying this nuke to actually having it more or less be that it would drop onto the map and be some sort of crazy map change going into Season 4, or that it could potentially be a callable kill streak, much like we have in multiplayer. As you guys know, the nuke in multiplayer is 30 kills, but there's actually something that came out in an article that my buddy actually had caught initially that said that they could be lowering it to 25, but I think that ended up being a little bit false. But if they were to end up lowering it to 25, or even just keeping it at 30, the amount of times that people are going to drop 30 kills in a battle royale actually could be quite low. But I will say that if they do happen to have that be in addition to the game, this thing that I'm going to be talking about later in the video as far as a Warzone player update could actually make a lot of sense. It could mean that people, if there is a call up a nuke, will actually be getting that a lot more often than they would right now. So just kind of summarizing up all that information, I kind of want to know what you guys think about what I've said so far in the comment section below. Are we going to get a new map? Do you guys think the nuke's going to be a callable kill streak for, people? Or is it going to be a map altercator where it's actually going to, have a drastic change on the map itself we got right now? Let me know. So if you guys really don't pay attention to going on to other sorts of platforms, more or less like Reddit, I'm sure probably a lot of you guys that watch my videos, or even just kind of more or less browse around and keep up to date even with Call of Duty in general, don't necessarily go onto Reddit for a lot of stuff. And me being actually one of those people that really didn't go on it till a lot recently, I've been browsing around on there, really trying to kind of indulge myself and figure out what's been going on and what's happening with the community. And there's people that are really indulged and just, driven to actually figure out what's going on. And there's actually been some secret weapons that are actually been getting dropped into, Battle Royale that we really haven't seen. And I'm sure some of you guys, if you're playing Warzone frequently, you've noticed that when you go onto the ground, you pick up a ground weapon that you're like, wow, I haven't seen this before. Like, this is not a ground weapon that was here before. Like, you pick it up, you're like, this was definitely not in the shop yet. I don't have this in my inventory as a blueprint. So you've been kind of noticing that they kind of sneakily are adding stuff into the Warzone drop loot that's not necessarily necessarily there for you to be able to buy, or that's not even necessarily even released yet. So this is another case of one of those things that's happening, but in this case, it's actually a minigun that's actually dropping. And people are actually able to see that there is a minigun on the ground, but with there being a minigun on the ground, you're not necessarily able to pick it up and go ahead and use it. It ends up swapping out to being something else. I've actually had this issue myself, but not necessarily with finding a minigun, or even at some point with there, I think there was Riley, like the dog was actually, you know, found on the ground, but when you picked it up, it became like an MP5 or something. What I was actually experiencing myself was there was kind of an inherent issue where, you know, if I saw like an AK on the ground, I'd pick it up and it'd suddenly become a FAMAS. Like that happened to one of my buddies in a previous game, that happened to me the very next game afterwards. And I was like, yo, what is this? Like, why is it when I see an AK or a FAMAS, it ends up, I pick it up and then it, you know, swaps over to the other version of, you know, what would be on the ground? It really didn't make sense. So there's been a lot of glitches and a lot of stuff that's been getting added to ground loot. And so people are figuring out slowly but surely that stuff is actually going to be coming to the game. And there is indeed new updates coming to Warzone, but they're not necessarily in the game. They're just kind of a little bit there, but, you know, not necessarily intentionally. Speaking of new Warzone updates that are actually going to be coming to the game, something a lot of people have been asking for, which is going to be updated here very soon, is going to be new Warzone Duos game mode. So people have been asking for Warzone Duos for a hot minute. We've been asking to be able to get duos for I don't know how long, basically since probably the release of Warzone. It was first just solos and trios, then solos, trios, and quads, then back to solos and trios, then you get some other game modes in there, and now there is, you know, bare bones trios and everything basically under the sun minus Warzone Duos. So I don't know why they've taken such a long time to throw that in there, but now in the future update coming soon here, potentially within this next week or even before Season 4, we're going to be getting Warzone Duos, which is a very welcome addition to the game. And speaking of what I was talking a little bit about earlier with a callable nuke, this is more or less what I was going to be talking about when I said later in the video, and that is that we have the confirmation from a leaks account that is, you know, got an inside source, and they said that we're going to have 200 players in a Warzone Battle Royale lobby. So currently we only have 150 players that is maximum to get into a game, but they're actually showing that we're actually gonna have 200 players in a lobby. So that's an extra 50 people to kill and take out in a game. And you already see people dropping 20s and 30 bombs. I can only imagine when you had another 50 people in there, it's gonna be even crazier. And speaking of, I know there's a world record dropped by, I think, Vicstar, Priesta, and I think somebody else. There was like a 4-man squad of like Vicstar and like 3 different pro Call of Duty players. They ended up dropping like, what was it, 138 kills, and there was only like 137 people in the lobby. So basically they killed literally every single person on top of when they came back in and respawned. It was absolutely ridiculous. So if they're all dropped 30 plus in that game, that'd basically mean that, you know, if there was a callable nuke, all of them would have essentially gotten a callable nuke, and that's kind of absolutely nuts. Also, something I need to mention is that on top of getting 200 plus players in a Warzone Duos mode, there is the potential actually for a Juggernaut LTM. And what does the Juggernaut carry? The Juggernaut carries a minigun, and what players been finding on the ground in Warzone? Miniguns. So that actually kind of is pretty interesting that we could be getting a Juggernaut LTM. The details of what would happen in the Juggernaut LTM are still a little bit, you know, unclear. We don't know what's going to happen, but the Juggernaut LTM is leaked along with the 200 players and the Warzone Duos mode to be coming to us very, very soon. I definitely want to see how this is actually going to play out. Is it going to be more or less a slaying type of mode? We're going to be able to drop a ton of kills. Is there going to be respawn? What's going to be happening? I think there's a lot of interesting stuff that's going to be coming up here in the near future. And on top of everything that I have talked about, you know, there is going to be a free Call of Duty multiplayer weekend coming up. And man, do we all love Call of Duty multiplayer. Free Call of Duty multiplayer. So that means all the Warzone kids that don't necessarily have multiplayer are going to hop into regular multiplayer, hopefully be able to level up some of their guns, be able to, you know, get some XP, grind out their level, and potentially be able to buy the game and just hop into some regular multiplayer lobbies instead of exclusively Warzone. But that is more or less all I got for you guys here within today's video. I think I covered a ton of stuff, which is going to be coming to us here before Season 4 and or in Season 4. If you guys enjoyed this video, want to see more like this, I would really greatly appreciate you guys to drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button if you have not already with those notifications turned on, of course. Definitely make sure you guys comment down in the comment section below, and I'll be back here again tomorrow with the end of the brand new video. Just don't choke out, don't be Randy, and I'm out. Peace.